Tonight, a seismic shift in global trade. The United States Supreme Court has delivered a landmark ruling, striking down the sweeping tariffs enacted under the Trump administration. This decision ends years of economic uncertainty and redraws the map of international commerce. From American factories to Asian ports, the effects will be felt for years. This is about more than economics. It's about jobs, prices, and global relationships. The news sent shockwaves through financial markets worldwide. For years, these tariffs fueled a trade war impacting nearly every sector. Businesses faced higher costs, consumers paid more, and supply chains were upended. Now, with this ruling, a new chapter begins. The question, what comes next? The path forward is complex, filled with both promise and new challenges. World leaders and business executives are scrambling to understand the implications. American families wonder how this will affect their budgets. The Supreme Court's decision presses the reset button on a contentious policy, forcing a re-evaluation of America's role in the global economy. Our correspondents are positioned around the world to bring you the latest. We'll explore the legal reasoning, analyze the economic impact, and look at the political fallout. This story touches on law, diplomacy, and everyday lives. Stay with us as we unpack this pivotal moment in global trade. To understand today's ruling, we must look back. The tariffs were a signature Trump policy, starting in 2018, aimed at protecting American jobs from foreign competition. Using Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, the administration imposed tariffs for national security. Critics argued this stretched the law's intent. The first wave targeted steel and aluminum imports, even from allies. The conflict quickly escalated, focusing on China, accused of unfair trade practices. Massive tariffs hit hundreds of billions in Chinese goods. China retaliated, targeting U.S. exports like soybeans and cars. The result? A full-blown trade war, disrupting decades-old supply chains. Some domestic industries revived, but many businesses faced higher costs, passed on to consumers. Studies showed job losses in other sectors, and the net effect on employment remains debated. The tariffs became a central political issue, dividing lawmakers and sparking immediate legal challenges. Companies and industry groups sued, arguing presidential overreach. These cases wound through the courts, setting the stage for today's Supreme Court showdown. The decision marks the culmination of a long, hard-fought legal battle. It's a turning point in American trade policy. The debate over the tariffs' true impact will continue, but the legal precedent is now set. The story of the tariffs is one of economic risk, political division, and legal challenge. Today's ruling closes one chapter and opens another. The world is watching what comes next. This morning, the Supreme Court issued its 6-3 decision, ending a years-long legal fight. The majority opinion found the executive branch exceeded its powers under the Trade Expansion Act. The court ruled that national security cannot justify broad economic protectionism. A direct link between imports and defense threats must be clear, something the tariffs lacked. The decision is a clear check on presidential power, reaffirming Congress's role in trade. Dissenting justices argued the court was overstepping, warning it could limit future presidents in genuine crises. The White House pledged to comply and called for a new, modern trade policy. Lawmakers are split. Some praise the decision as a win for free trade, others see it as a blow to American manufacturing. The political debate is far from over. The balance of power in trade policy has shifted. The economic impact will be immediate and far-reaching. With tariffs gone, import prices for steel, aluminum, and Chinese goods will fall. American manufacturers will see lower costs, potentially leading to lower prices and new jobs. The National Association of Manufacturers called it a new day for industry. But domestic steel and aluminum producers now face tough foreign competition and uncertainty. The government may need to support affected workers and communities. Supply chains, reshaped to avoid tariffs, may shift again. Some companies could return to Chinese suppliers, others may stick with new partners. Strategic planning and uncertainty will define the coming months. For farmers, the hope is China will lift retaliatory tariffs, reopening a vital export market. The American Farm Bureau Federation called the ruling a light at the end of a long tunnel. The changes will ripple through every sector. Some will benefit quickly, others will face tough adjustments. The U.S. economy is entering a new phase. The challenge: maximize gains, minimize pain. Policymakers must act swiftly to manage the transition. The stakes are high for workers, businesses, and families. The Supreme Court's decision sent global markets soaring. Asian and European stocks surged. Wall Street rallied. Investors see the end of tariffs as a boost for global growth and stability. The US dollar dipped, reflecting expectations of increased imports. World leaders and organizations welcomed the news, calling it a step toward de-escalating trade tensions. Allies like the EU, Canada, and Mexico expressed relief and readiness to resolve remaining issues. All eyes are on China. Early signals are cautiously optimistic. China hopes for a return to stable trade relations. The key question is whether it will lift retaliatory tariffs. If so, trade between the world's two largest economies could normalize quickly. But underlying issues, China's industrial policies, state-owned enterprises, and IP protection, remain. The US and allies will keep pressing China, but now through negotiation, not tariffs. The focus may shift to international partnership and collaboration. This marks a major change in strategy. The world is watching for the next move. The hope: a new era of cooperation. The political fallout is just beginning. The ruling reignites fierce debate over trade policy, drawing new battle lines in Washington. For the administration, it's both an opportunity and a challenge. Freedom to chart a new course, but also political risk. Lawmakers opposed to tariffs celebrate a win for free markets and congressional authority. Supporters vow to fight back, some pushing for new legislation to restore presidential tariff powers. The stage is set for a major legislative battle. The ruling limits future presidents' ability to impose tariffs unilaterally, reaffirming Congress's role. Internationally, the decision opens the door to repairing strained alliances. The U.S. can now work with partners on shared challenges, especially regarding China. A united front among democracies could reshape the global economy. The diplomatic landscape is shifting. America's next moves will define its global leadership. For most Americans, the big question: how will this affect me? With tariffs gone, prices on goods like appliances, electronics, and furniture are likely to fall. More variety may return to store shelves, and competition could drive prices lower. Some industries may lose jobs, but others, especially those using imported materials, could expand and hire. Farmers and exporters may benefit if foreign tariffs are lifted. The stock market's positive reaction bodes well for retirement accounts and investments. A more stable trade environment means better prospects for growth and prosperity. Experts say this ruling is about more than tariffs. It's a statement on the balance of power. The Supreme Court clarified that national security isn't a blank check for the president. Congress holds primary power over commerce, as intended by the Constitution. Economists call lifting the tariffs a tax cut for the country, likely reducing inflation and boosting purchasing power. The challenge support workers and industries adjusting to new competition. Foreign policy experts see a chance to reset U.S.-China relations, but core challenges remain. The U.S. can now build a coalition with allies for greater leverage. The strategy must shift from confrontation to coordinated competition. Businesses welcome the stability and predictability the ruling brings. Companies can now plan investments with more confidence. The legal precedent will shape trade policy for years to come. So, where do we go from here? The era of the Trump tariffs is over, but a new chapter begins. The U.S. must rebuild trust with partners, repair supply chains, and help workers adjust. Diplomatic efforts will focus on unwinding tariffs and retaliatory measures. Success isn't guaranteed, but there's a clear path toward de-escalation. For businesses and consumers, this is a time of transition. Some will benefit quickly, others will face tough adjustments. Policymakers must maximize the benefits and minimize the pain. The Supreme Court's decision has set in motion changes that will shape our economy and world for years. Informed discussion and debate are more important than ever. What should America's role in the global economy be? How can we ensure prosperity for all in a competitive world? These are the questions we now face as a nation. Thank you for joining us. Good night.